So now, Satyavan and Savitri, they have introduced to each other. She wanted Satyavan to tell her more and more of what he is, and he spoke something not only about him, but about the growing possibilities which can open out for the world, the spiritual possibilities which can open out for the world. He was looking for the body of God. He was looking for the body of God, that it must be established here. And he also saw that in every other self he is present there, not only in himself, but in the entire universe, in the cosmic extensions. Now, with that introduction, actually, this is a very sweet introduction, very sweet way of concluding. And then he says, "Oh, my bright, beauteous princess Savitri, by my delight and thy own joy compelled. Yes, you enter my life, I'll be very happy, but you will also be compelled by your own joy to enter into my life. You will be compelled. You cannot but join my life. Enter my life, thy chamber and thy shrine." As I said, thy chamber and thy shrine. He says, thy shrine. Earlier we have seen that Savitri was a shrine for the God of love. God of love would find himself very comfortable to stay in that palatial shrine. And the shrine would be so vast that the entire universe could be accommodated in the shrine. That is Savitri. Her love was wider than the universe. And it is the shrine. But now Satyavan is telling, yes, you are going to stay in my shrine. I am going to be your shrine now. You will be the goddess. You will be the deity. I will worship in my shrine here. In great quietness with spirits made, led by my hushed desire into my woods, let the dim rustling arches over thee lean. One with the breath of things eternal live. Thy heart beats near to mine, till there shall leap enchanted from the fragrance of the flowers, a moment which all murmurs shall recall, and every bird remember its cry. So it's a very romantic invitation Satyavan is extending to Savitri. Very sweet, very romantic, and already he is talking of her heartbeats close to his heartbeats. very, dear, very endearing, almost to the extent of to the on the verge of kind of romantic eroticism. That is what we are here. And then this is one of the most beautiful sections in Savitri, section 2 of this particular canto, or this 104, that is the 104th section of the whole epic. 104 is the 104th section of the entire epic. Starting from the first epic, we have come down to 104. There are in all 159 sections in Savitri. Now, allured to her lashes by his passionate words, her fathomless soul looked at him from her eyes, passing her lips in liquid sounds, it spoke. Now, this is a very powerful sentence, very deep, very occult, very romantic also. And in just few phrases, He has packed the entire romanticism of spirituality, is what we see here. The romanticism of spirituality is what is witnessed here. First, he says, allude to her lashes, eyelashes. Now, the eyelashes have become very charming. They have become so charming, so sweet, because of the power of love which got awakened in Savitri. She has become very beautiful, extremely beautiful, and all that beauty is now gathered in her eyes. All that beauty has gathered now in her eyes. Therefore, the soul which is very deep within sees something extremely beautiful and tries to come out. Allured to her lashes by his passion, her fathomless soul, it is coming out from deep within towards the eye. And it is through that sight she is seeing now Satyavan. That's the French translation? Yeah. You get the sense there? Yes, the sense, yes. But they put something else. Is it by the mother? No, I prefer English because in French she put the pull from the deepness. No, it's not pulled. Tiré. No, tiré is not pulled. It is attraction. It is attraction. Yes. Allure means attracted, charmed. No, it is charmed. It is attracted. It is so sweet, it has jumped up. It has the sense of jumping up. Sense of jumping up. The soul has jumped up from within into her eyes. Yeah. Allured to her lashes by his passionate words, her fathomless soul looked at him from her eyes. Now, fathomless soul, of course, Savitri's soul is fathomless. We don't know the depths of her soul. And it is already very deep within. And essentially, behind that human Savitri, it is the divine Savitri herself which is seated within her soul. It is the divine Savitri who herself is seated within her soul. Now, it is she, the divine Savitri, is getting attracted by this beauty which she sees now in human Savitri. Human Savitri's beauty got awakened because of the power of love. And that has done the entire alchemy, you see. Allured to her lashes by his passionate words, her fathomless soul looked at him from her eyes. It is the soul which is looking, not her eyes. It is the soul which is looking at him. Passing her lips in liquid sounds, it spoke. Now, this word passionate has the sense of intensity. It is not the ordinary human passion. It is not emotionalism. It has a sense of fieriness, of intensity, or some kind of a depth in the power of the words. And it is that which is coming out. It is intense emotion, is what we see in that passionate word. Intense emotion of Satyavan in his speech, his powerful speech. And it is a strong feeling of his passionate, his strong feeling. He is talking very sincerely, very honestly, very deeply, with a kind of fieriness, intense as well as vehement. He is also vehement. He is earnest, he is glowing, it is burning, it is fiery, it is animated. All those qualities are put in that word passionate. It is in that sense of passionate, you see. Not human passion or emotions or attraction. Earnest, glowing, burning, fiery, animated. intense, vehement. These are the shades of passionate. Yeah. And it is that intensity he spoke to her. And Savitri got attracted because of that. Her soul got kind of attracted by that thing. Fathomless soul looked at him from her eyes, passing her lips in liquid sounds, it spoke. Now, who is speaking? It is the soul which is speaking. It is the soul which has come out. And it has found a way through her lips to speak, the soul. And it is in the language which we utter and we speak, it is through that language. I mean, it has already spoken silently. They have already spoken to each other silently. What would call the sane speech. In the Sanskrit language, there are 4 grades of speech, 4 types of speech. Vaikhari, Madhyama, Pashyanti, and Turiya. These are the 4 levels of speech. What we speak and utter, and for what we have got dictionaries and meanings and correlations and all that thing, they belong to the language called Vaikhari, the common human language, Vaikhari. But behind that is Madhyama, the intermediate, the occult link between the pranic language, the language of life, and the language of the waking person. It is that pranic speech, that is the Madhyama. She is the intermediary between this. Beyond that is Pashyanti. Pashyanti means seen. You don't speak, you see that thing, and the communication is already established. The communication is already established. And then, of course, beyond that is ineffable, which cannot be described in terms of language. Turiya. These are the 4 levels of language. So, until now, when Satyavan and Savitri were seeing each other, they were really talking in the language which belongs to Pashyanti, the seen language. Where you see, you understand, you recognize everything immediately. You don't have to speak out a word. See, some time ago, the example which I had given, mother mentions in one of her talks, you see, every Durga time, that is in October, about this time, Durga used to visit the mother regularly, and she used to be there with her for some time also. Maybe on some occasions she was there with her for 3 days, and she was charmed by the way the mother was doing all these things, Durga. Then somebody asked the mother, in which language do you speak to each other? Do you speak in French? She says, no, this is another language, Pashyanti word. We communicate in another language at that level. It is that language which is speak. So that language is already, but now it has come down here in the case of Satyavan and Savitri to the spoken language what we understand. And now it is that which is now following it up here. And therefore the words are passionate with that intensity, that earnestness, everything is there now packed in that word, you see. Fathomless soul looked at him from her eye, passing her lips in liquid sound. Now again, we have got our common favorite phrase, liquid sounds. See, we are saying that liquid sound, this phrase appears earlier also. No? In fact, there are a few occurrences of this phrase in Savitri. Liquid sounds, we have got once here. Then liquid voice, 93.31. Ashokas burned in crimson spots of flame, pure like the breath of an unstained desire. White jasmines haunted the enamored air, pale mango blossoms fed the liquid voice. It is a description of the spring, and it is the mango blossoms which have filled up the whole place with liquid voice. Then we have another liquid, 102.34, that we already seen also, but let us see again quickly. And Satyavan looked out from his soul's doors and felt the enchantment of her liquid voice. Felt the enchantment of her liquid voice. It is exactly the same thing. Now here, liquid sound which is coming here. There, until now, in the earlier case, when they were seeing each other, he felt. She had not spoken a word. The chariot stood like an arrested wind, as you said, arrested wind. And Satyavan felt a liquid voice, liquid sound, as if somebody was speaking to his inner ear. But now they have already spoken to each other. And here we have got the concreteness of liquid sounds on our level. Passing the lips in liquid sound, she spoke. Then there is one more occurrence here of the liquid. 148.16. It is of a slightly different kind, but it is very beautiful. Went whispering into lakes of liquid peace. Liquid peace. This is a very, very beautiful image. Liquid peace. It's a very picturesque phrase. I think you should make a painting of this one. Liquid peace. Yeah. Liquid peace. Went whispering into lakes of liquid peace. Very original phrase, very beautiful phrase, you see. So we have got actually 4 occurrences of the word liquid in Savitri. In 2 places it is the same thing, but you see the liquid, the easiness of flow, it is what comes out here, you see. Her lips in liquid sounds, it spoke. Now, allured to her lashes by his passionate words. I have got here a couple of references. Now, this image, allured to her lashes, as I told you, is a very romantic image. It is super Kalidasian. Kalidas is very fond of such romantic images. But Shebandu has gone beyond Kalidas. Her eyes have become so beautiful that the soul is drawn out, which Kalidas cannot do. Kalidas is basically romantic, lyrical kind of a mood. But that spiritual lyricism which is here is absolutely enchanting. You see. About this phrase, allured to her lashes. Through the windows of eye, to the windows of eye, the soul regards the world's beauty. The soul sees through the windows. These are the windows for the soul. And through these windows, it sees the worlds of beauty. Worlds of beauty. Now, this is a quotation from Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo. He says that through the windows of eye, the soul regards the world's beauty. Very powerful. There is something very definite about it. Very spiritual insight is there. See. Through the windows of eye, the soul regards. Regards means looks here. The world's beauty. Now, basically, what it means is that the physical beauty of Savitri, she is already a beautiful princess, royal, beautiful, dazzling, radiant, Devarupini, as Mahabharata story. She is of the form of a goddess, shining and lustrous and beautiful, Devarupini. Physical beauty here in the case of Savitri got more perfected by the power of love. It is love which has entered into it and made her physical beauty still more beautiful. Physical beauty perfected by love, it is that beauty which allures the soul from its depth to the surface. It attracts it up like that, you see, from its fathomless depth. Then her sight, Savitri's sight becomes, obviously, she is not seeing now with the physical eye. She is seeing, her sight is soul charged, charged with soul. It is the soul which sees things now. The mystery of the eyes. In former times, it was said that the soul looks out from the eyes. The soul looks out of the eyes. And then, well, actually, you must have perhaps met and seen in the case of the mother, whenever she used to meet somebody, she used to look into the eyes, straight into the eyes. And you don't have to shut up your eyes. You should not. When she is looking, you have to allow her to look into her eyes constantly. Constantly gazing. It is through that she enters directly into the soul. And then she sees what it is there, and all that you see. So it is through this. So while the soul while the eye is a window for the soul to look out, it is also an entrance for that sight to enter into your soul. Both things happen simultaneously. See. Then about Beatrice Dante, he speaks of her beauty in his Divine Comedy. Dante speaks of beholding in the eyes of Beatrice the reflection or the mystery of the two natures. In her eyes, he sees the reflection of the mystery of two natures, the divine nature and the human nature. He sees the mystery of the two natures through her eyes. Eyes of Beatrice, the reflection of the mystery of the two natures of the divine humanity. Naturally, therefore, to call love blind is the reverse of truth. Calling love is the reverse of truth. When, of course, when it happens like this, when it happens, you are establishing through that communication, eye to eye communication, the contact of soul to soul. It becomes a channel for communication, for joining them together. So that is what we have got here. Liquid sounds spoke. Now, obviously, in a way, as we have seen earlier also, in the case of Satyavan and Savitri, they are here together just for 3 hours, one early morning, you see, and they have fallen in love immediately. So this is love at first sight. They have recognized each other. Something has happened, they have recognized it. Finished. It is really love at first sight. So it is a wrong way of saying they have fallen in love. The correct phrase should be they have risen in love, not fallen in love. see, see, they are risen in love actually. Yeah, exactly. So it is that, you see, they are risen in love immediately after recognizing each other who they are, you see. Basically, the power of love has awakened the soul side of Savitri. So much also in the case of Satyavan. It is the power of love that has awakened their soul sight. And it is with that sight they are seeing each other. It is not human Savitri, human Satyavan who are seeing each other and meeting and talking to each other. Something has happened, that alchemy has worked, and the soul got kindled, it has come out in a very glowing manner in the case of both of them, and it is that contact which is now established between the two. That is what has actually happened here. And therefore, they don't have to really speak too much now. This deed is done, finished, matter is over. You see. You see. This word alone she uttered and said all. Everything is contained in these two lines. Everything is contained. She need not speak more. It's all over. They have understood each other. They have understood the purpose of their life. They have understood why they are here. Why they have met each other. They understood. They must meet each other. They understood all that at once. O Satyavan, I heard thee and I know. I know that thou and only thou art he. Savitri has been moving from place to place, as we have seen, in the quest of a life partner for several months, going from place to place, kingdoms, countries, lands, villages, temples, palaces, everywhere. She has not found anybody at all. But here in this lonely forest, they are met, and she has recognized at once who he is. I know who you are. Yes, I have been looking for you in the wilderness of life, in the wilderness of this creation. I have been looking for you, and now we are met. Now, perhaps you recollect this story the mother has narrated, the sapphire tale. You have read the sapphire tale? It's a very beautiful story. Sapphire tale by the mother. There, again, it is a love story, but very sweetly narrated. I think I'll bring it next time. We can perhaps read it. Yeah. It's very beautiful. Maybe you can read it in French. The sapphire tale. Sapphire tale. Tales of long ago. The mother has narrated. Yeah. In the collected works of Mother, Volume 2. Volume 2. Volume 2. So, it is a very beautiful description. And there the mother says that whole picture which she is presenting there belongs to the overmind world. They are meeting together in the lonely forest and all that. It belongs to the overmind world. Now, this lyricism, what we hear, is something more than that, beyond that. Mother wrote at a very early stage. This description of Satyavan Savitri, that meeting is in the transcendent, which is kind of transcribed here, is transmitted here. Then, Satyavan, I heard thee, and I know. How does she know now? She has not done yoga. She has not known anybody at all. Something has now awakened in her soul, and it is settled. She has at once recognized who this gentleman is, who this person is, whom she is meeting. He is no more a stranger to her now. He is not a stranger now to her. Then down she came from her high caravan car. He had told her, descend, oh happiness. It was a kind of a command to her. Come down from a caravan car, from a chariot, and embrace our earth, embrace our world. You are living, floating up there, come down, descend, and live in our world. And Savitri obliges to him. Then down she came from her high caravan car. Now this is again a phrase which is repeated quite often in Savitri. Caravan car, it appears number of places in Savitri. This is of course here 104.3. Then we have same phrase again in 105.8. Once more she mounted on the caravan car at the top. She came from her caravan car. Then in other places we have got car of light. Car of light, light, L-I-G, light, car of light. 103.71. Car of light, 103.71. He says, Satyavan says, come nearer to me from thy car of light. She is really riding a very beautiful chariot, car of light, you see. Satyavan has already recognized that, car of light, you see. Etc. There are many. Then, of course, there is a caravan chariot in Savitri. There is an imaginations car, imaginations car. Then, high roofed car. Satyavan and Savitri, when they go back after claiming his soul back, they go to the kingdom, Salva, and there you have got 159.3. Now here he says, see, Satyavan's soul has come back, they are in the hermitage, now the kingdom also has come back to his father, and this is in the epilogue, and now they are going to the palace, and they are going to rule there. So from the forest now, they are going to the capital. And Savitri is now riding there a high-roofed car, see, drawn by white manes upon a high-roofed car. In flare the unsteady torches went, with linked hands, Satyavan and Savitri. In the high-roofed car, they are going palace. So that is the caravan car, high roofed car, see all those things. Very beautiful images and they are all connected together. See. In fact, in the Rigveda, there is a very beautiful description of chariot. He calls it Chandra Ratha. Chandra means Chandra basically means moon chariot. But Chandra in Sanskrit means delight, happiness, joy, ecstasy. Chandratha, the chariot of happiness, of delight. It is that my soul is riding the chariot of delight. I am going in the chariot of delight. So it is in that chariot of delight, Chandratha, that she is riding. It's a very beautiful phrase, Chandra Ratha, you see. It is not just the celestial moon, but Chandra Ratha has the aspect, Chandra has the aspect of delight, of Ananda. And it is in that chariot the Rishi is going to the worlds of immortality. Chandra Ratha. In fact, this caravan car, I said golden car also, in the Mahabharata story of Savitri, she is going from place to place in a golden chariot. Golden chariot. That is what Vyasa describes, golden chariot. Golden chariot, Hema Ratha. Hema means gold. Hema Ratha, chariot is golden chariot. Means the whole thing must be wooden and all the thing aligned with gold panels and things like that, and she's moving full of royalty like that. Then down she came from her high caravan car. Now, in other words, she is a celestial being. She is riding the chariot of delight there. She has now come down here upon earth. She is touching the earth, descending with a soft and faltering haste. She is soft and faltering. She is emotional. She is charmed. She is a young princess fallen in love, and therefore she is trembling. Faltering haste. Her many-hued raiment glistening in the light. So she is a rich girl, having a raiment of many colors. She is a princess, royal princess. Of course, one of the hues must be the purple also, the sign of royalty, you see. So many hued. So one of them could be purple also, you see. Many hued raiment glistening in the light, daylight, early morning daylight, you see. Hovered a moment over a wind-stirred ground. So she's coming down and kind of hovering on that thing while she's coming down from the chariot, because it is a high chariot. So she's coming down, descending slowly like that. You see. Hovered a moment over a wind-stirred ground, mixed with a glimmer of her body's ray. This is pure romanticism. Yes, there is beautiful sunlight in the morning and all that thing, but that sunlight becomes more rich because of the beauty of Savitri. It is her beauty is which is radiating all around, which is spreading all around. It is that light of her body which is getting mixed with the light of the morning. So she is adding the real substance to the sunlight or the physical world around her own body's light, mixed with a glimmer of her body's ray, like lovely plumage of a settling bird. So the bird is coming and settling down on his homing tree, like that. So she is coming down slowly, like that, you see. Her gleaming feet upon the green gold sward. What a beautiful line. Her gleaming feet. He is describing her feet upon the green gold sward. The grassland is there around here. And her feet are gleaming, shining bright upon the green gold. So you can see the alliterations of G. Gleaming, green, gold. G alliteration is there. Then of course D, gold, sword. See the very beautiful line from that point of view. And metrically also you can say her gleaming is one. Gleaming feet upon the green gold sword. In other words, her gleam is an am, gleaming feet another am, upon third am, the green the fourth am, and gold sword. Both are stressed syllables, heavy syllable, spondy. So we have got basically here in this line up to here 4 ams, short long, short long, short long, short long. And in the last feet is gold sword. It gives you the full thrust, full force of her coming down. Spondy comes out with the kind of force there. So poetic technique goes along with the description also there. Scattered memory of wandering beam. So she is scattering all that and lightly pressed the unspoken desire of earth. Earth was waiting for her. Earth was expecting her. That was the desire of the earth. She should come and touch the earth. That was the unspoken desire of the earth, cherished in her too brief passing by the soil. She is coming here very for a short while, and she is cherishing her feet to come and sit down upon that thing. So that is how now she is descending from her chariot and coming down on the ground. See, this is a 4-line sentence. 4-line sentence. Normally they are called a stanza. So it's a very powerful stanza, you see, and the whole thing is condensed poetically in an extremely sweet manner. So Savitri has come down, then we have got other stanzas, very beautiful once more. Then flitting like pale, brilliant moths, her hands have become now moths. Took from sylvan was a sunlit arms, the flowers, the trees, the branches which are sunlit, which have become bright because of sun. She has taken from those branches of trees flowers. What are those flowers? A load of the jewel faces clustering swarm. Means the trees are full of flowers and she is plucking those flowers. Savitri is plucking those flowers. A load of jewel faces. So that is how he describes it. Now, This is a transferred description. Instead of simply saying flowers, she has picked flowers. He said there are 12 faces clustering swarm, full of flowers are there. Companions of the springtime and the breeze. So they have grown up there in the springtime and the wind is there, breeze is there. It is from those trees she has plucked a lot of flowers. She has come down from the chariot, she goes around and immediately plucks a lot of flowers around. And then what does she do? A candid garland set with simple forms. Her rapid fingers taught a flower song. Stands at moment of a marriage hymn. So the poet is already telling you that what she is singing is a marriage hymn. They are going to get united. It's going to be a marriage, you see. So he is already introduced you that aspect of it. A candid garland. Candid without any disguise, which is, it's a very beautiful word, candid, without disguise, straightforward, unposed, in its own natural manner. Basically, the word candid comes from the Latin word candidus. Candidus. And candidus in Latin means shining white. Shining white. Candidum, white, pure, simple, sincere, honest. All the shades are put in that word candidus. White, pure, simple, honest. So her rapid fingers, they are gathering those flowers and they are weaving a very simple, beautiful, unadorned kind of a garland, you see. She has immediately plucked up the flowers and she is now weaving the garland with those flowers, you see. So the story is going very fast here. Now here, grammatically, it's a little complex sentence. A candid garland set with simple forms. Basically, I would read it like this. Her rapid fingers set a candid garland. Her rapid fingers set a candid garland. They formed, they woven all the flowers. That is how you would extract it. What does he put in French? What I'm saying is correct? The same name, candid. Yeah, no, but the sentence about what? Yes. Ses doigts agiles ont tissé une fraîche guirlande candide. Yeah, but does it carry the same? Her rapid fingers set a candid garland? Yes. It is that, no? It is that, no? He got it correct in English. See, yeah. Her rapid fingers set a candid garland. Grammatically, that is how you would put. And then the garland of what? With simple forms. There are additional clauses. And then taught how? Taught a flower song, stanza movement of a marriage. The way she is weaving the garland is like a song. Is like a song. Taught a flower song, the stanza. It is a stanza structure. Stanza by stanza. She is mean one part of the garland, another part of the garland, another part of the garland is making like a poem, stanza. And that is a poem of marriage. It is a marriage hymn. You see. Actually, marriage hymn in the Rig Veda, there is a sukta, marriage hymn. It is the marriage of Surya. In Mandala 10, Sukta 85, marriage hymn. The whole description of marriage is described. We will see that in some time later on, marriage hymn. A candid garland set with simple form, her rapid fingers start a flower song, stands at moment of a marriage hymn, profound in perfume and immersed in hue, Well, it means that the flowers are really fragrant flowers. She has picked up fragrant flowers. The fragrance of joy is there. They mix their yearnings, colors, signs. Mean what these lovers have, their feeling, their emotions, they are now getting mixed up. They are getting communicated through these flowers. They mixed their yearnings, colors, sign, and made the bloom of their purity and passion one. So it is these flowers when she is going to offer that thing, it is that purity, that passion which is joined together and they will become one. They will get united. That is the marriage hymn. That is marriage hymn of their coming together and becoming one. And in what way? In the purity and passion of love. Now, that description he carries forward a sacrament of joy. This is sacrament, not the sacrament of baptism, not the sacrament of the religious rite, but it is the sacrament of joy. It is not the sacrament of the Lord's Supper also. It is the sacrament of joy, of happiness, of delight to come. This is a very original, very beautiful phrase in contrast to the the religious description associated with sacrament. You see. Normally, you would associate sacrament with baptism or with Last Supper, like that. But here, the sacrament of joy, new things happening this year. Well, actually, in a certain sense, sacrament of joy is the sacrament of the confirmation of a marriage. Sacrament of joy is the confirmation of marriage. That is the sacrament. So it is that which he had described as a sacrament of joy, of their coming together, marriage him. She brought flower symbol of her offered life. So she has offered her life to him in the form of flowers. They are the ones who will communicate the true sense of your soul. Flowers. Then, with raised hands that trembled little now at a very closeness that her soul desired. So she desires him to be very close, but she at the same time trembles, kind of withdraws. This is pure romanticism. And the way Savitri describes, he is very fond of such contrasts, you see, in a way. Then, with raised hand that trembled a little now at the very closeness that her soul desired, the bond of sweetness, their bright union's sign, she laid on the bosom coveted by her love. She is loving him now and she is putting the garland around his neck. She is raising her hand and putting the garland around him. She laid on the bosom, on his chest, coveted by her love. She is very close to him now. Now, how? So, this is what has happened. She has already worn the garland and she has put it now on Satyavan, as if inclined before some gracious God, inclined before some gracious God, who has out of his mist of greatness shone to fill with beauty his adorers ours. She bowed and touched his feet with worshipping hands. Now, this is the most beautiful thing. She bowed, she has put the garland on him, and she is bowing down and touching his feet. This is absolutely Indian. I don't think any European or Westerner will do. No girl will do that kind of a thing. She will put the garland and touch his feet. I don't think they will do. Would they? Huh? Other way around. Okay. Yeah, yeah, but not touch the feet. Yeah, on the other side. Yeah. because he becomes her God. The moment her God.
Okay. I have some difficulty to, I would like to ask you some clarification for the whole. If we consider that Savitri is the divine mother of the divine, coming to save, in this way, to save the human being who is Satyabhanda. I can fully understand that the human being is in love with the God, with the soul. But I cannot imagine how the Divine Mother, she is troubling and enamored.
Well, I mean,
As a human being, I cannot.
no, actually, it only means her complete identification with humanity, with man. She has taken the mortal birth. She has taken the mortal birth and identified herself in totality with the mortal's way of things and doing. She is divine, but she has taken the human form, and it is that which is now, because it is that which is now coming out, because it is that which has to get lifted up. She is suffering like a human being. In fact, more than that, the pan she has taken upon herself the entire suffering of this creation. She is divine. Unless she experiences, unless she goes through that process, she will not be able to solve the problem of suffering in this world.
So she is embodied like a human being.
Yes.
Okay, so if it's like this, in this case, Satyavan now he is in love with the human or with the divine?
He is also human.
So
he is also
in
love.
love with the
Yeah,
human
yeah. So it is getting translated now on the human plane. Yeah. Yeah. And it is through that it has to go up.
Together.
Yeah. 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 In fact, you see, this is a very beautiful description, very sweet, very enchanting. This is a typical Indian description, of course. She is filled with beauty. His adorers, ours. She is feeling, he is ours with beauty. She bowed and touched his feet with worshipping hands. She made her life his world for him to trade. Yes, come and walk into my life. This is your world, my life. And made her body the room for his delight. Yes, my physical being is there for you to enjoy. Is there for you. Her beating heart, a remembrancer of bliss. Now, a very beautiful discussion, all these things here you see. Actually, well, you see, I don't know whether you heard or not, or perhaps you are aware also. On one occasion, in fact, why on the very first day when Mother and Shivandu met on 29th March 1940, Mother bowed down in front of Shivandu completely. She is divine, he is also divine, but they had taken human form. Yeah, she bowed down, and when Shivandu was asked, "What did you see in the mother for the first time?" He told, "I saw in her the capacity of man to completely surrender to the divine. Complete surrender is possible. That is what I saw." And then later on, I think it was during the Second World War when the Cripps mission had come to India, making a proposal for Dominion status independence. Shivandu had sent his special emissary to Delhi to accept that proposal in 1942, Cripps mission. But it was rejected by our wise people in Delhi. And then Shivandu said, no, sorry, not Shivandu. When Shivandu was asked about it, he said, I had done my nishkama karma, my nishkama, my the desireless work, without expectation of reward. Answer: I have done my part of it. My bounden duty I performed. What I am supposed to do, I had done my bounden duty. But then it is said that the mother completely bowed down in front of Shivandu when this happened. Lord, save us. She used to call him Lord on occasion. Save us at that time, she said. And then later on she said that people had not accepted what Shivandu had proposed. Now calamity will fall on India. Calamity will fall on India. They are suffering. So what I'm saying is, see, on the human level, they understand. Still, on the human level, she bows down, and he also puts his hand on her head, like that, you see, so to say.
What time was it when they met?
In 1942.
No, 1914.
Huh?
1914 when they met first in the playground.
No, in the guest room, guest house,
And it was in the guest room.
at 4 o'clock in the evening.
4 o'clock.
In the evening. On 14th, 1914, 29th March. Yeah. And in the mother's prayers and meditations, there is a prayer immediately, one whom we met yesterday. She said that, you see. That there is the assurance that the world will be saved. Her life has now become her life, his world to tread. That is what happened in the case of Savitri. She has made her life come and walk into this world of mine. Her body for his delight. I am there at your disposal fully. But then he says, her beating heart, a remembrancer of bliss. Now, this word remembrancer is something very beautiful word. Shivandu is a master of English. Very, very uncommon word. It is rarely used in English literature, this word. And remembers means a person who reminds of things to be done. Who reminds of things to be done. You are supposed to do something. You tell him, look, this is what you had to do. You have become a remembrancer for him. For him. So her heart has become a remembrance of his bliss. Yes, you have been having that bliss. And she's telling, yes, remember that bliss. We have been together. It's a very rich line, you see, very simple but very rich line, you see, in the connotation. Her beating heart, a remembrance of bliss. Of course, his bliss here, understood. Because in the earlier two, him to trade, his delight, his bliss. So her heart is now reminding him, look, wake up. This is the world of bliss meant for you, and you have to live in this world of bliss. You see. And then, this is what has happened to Savitri. She has offered herself totally to him, her life, her body, her heart, completely surrendered to him. I am yours. And then what does Satyavan do? He bent to her and took into his own their married, yearning, joined, like folded hopes. Their hopes that come together. Because she was leaning, she had touched his feet, so he bends down and lifts her up. He bent to her and took into his own their married yearning, jointly folded to, as if a whole rich world suddenly possessed. The moment he gathers Savitri, he has possessed the entire world into him. Wedded to all he had been, became himself, an inexhaustible joy made his alone. Yes, she is now entirely his. He's alone. He gathered all Savitri into his clasp. What a daring, what a great thing to gather all Savitri into his class, you see. He must be a real brave prince, brave fellow. To gather all Savitri like that is an extraordinary, brave kind of a thing to do. All Savitri. What is Savitri? Her love in her was wider than the universe. That is Savitri. Love in her is wider than the universe. Now, with all that love in her, he gathers her into his embrace. You see, that is what all Savitri means. He must have been a really brave fellow to gather all Savitri into his embrace, you see. Extraordinary line. It shows, in fact, if we remember that line, love in her was wider than the universe. Well, that line is there, 3.37. A deep of compassion, a hushed sanctuary, her inward hell unbarred a gate in heaven. Love in her was wider than the universe. Then the whole world could take refuge in a single heart. The whole world could take refuge in a single heart. Now, such great Savitri, this boy is able to gather all in his clasp. So that indirectly also shows that Satyavan is an exceptional being. He is not an ordinary mortal. He is an exceptional being. His greatness is equal to the greatness of Savitri, at least. And therefore, he can come together. An inexhaustible joy made his alone. He gathered all Savitri into his class. Around her, his embrace became the sign of a locked closeness through slow, intimate years. A first sweet summary of delight to come, of brevity, one brevity, intense of all long life. They will be together of long life. This is moment, intensity of that moment is there, which shows the future to come. What is going to happen? Now, while this is happening, Savitri is putting the garland around the neck of Satyavan. Satyavan is gathering her into his embrace, and the sacrament of joy is performed here. Exactly 1 year after this moment, this event, he is going to die. They are not aware of it. They are not aware of it. But that has to happen here. And it is at this place where they met, at this hour when they met, exactly 1 year after that, he has to die. He has to die. Because then that first sweet summary of delight to come has to go on from that moment onward. It is that which will be carried forward into the future. That delight. And therefore, what we have here is just one brevity in tense of all long life of life to come. This is just a small moment of 3 hours, so to say, but it is that which is going to bring long life of joy and happiness to them. And then, in a wide moment of two souls that made, she felt her being flow into him as in waves. She is pouring like a wave into him. The way a river pours into the sea, wave after wave, rush after rush of the river going into the sea. So she is pouring herself like a river into the sea that is Satyavan, Savitri. She felt her being flow into him as in waves a river pours into a mighty sea. So he is a mighty sea. She is a river pouring herself into the sea. Well, actually, on a very less level, on the vital level itself, this is what happens in the case of the two lovers coming together. They pour into each other. In fact, they don't really pour into each other. They suck each other. They extract each other, you see. They pull out something from each other. The vital of one person getting pulled by the other. That is what we call love. That is the exchange which takes place in the case of the ordinary human beings. But here she is pouring spontaneously, wave after wave, into the sea. As when a soul is merging into God, that is the level, to live in Him forever and know His joy. Her consciousness was a way of Him alone, and all her separation was lost in His. She is no more now that Savitri. Everything is now for her, Him alone. Now there is a difference here in the first two lines. To live in Him, H is capital here, His joy. Now that Him and His belong to God. As when a soul is merging into God, to live in God forever and know God's joy, that is what it would mean, to live in God forever and know God's joy. It is in that manner she was pouring herself into Him. Now this Him here is for Satyavan. It is not for God. He has become God for him now, for her now. A way of him alone, him, that stands for Satyavan. And of course, lost in his, not in God, but in Satyavan. So for her, he has become more than God. Yes, that is all for me. I don't need any other God. He is all for me. That is the kind of a greatness she is seeing in him. So these two lines, as when a soul is merging into God to live in Him forever and know His joy. This is a simile. This is a description, which is transferred to Satyavan. This is a comparison. And then, so this is what has happened in the case of Savitri. She is pouring herself like a river into him constantly. And what happens to Satyavan? Well, Savitri, this has happened. To Satyavan, we have got now the description of Satyavan. As a starry heaven encircles happy earth, heaven encircling earth, he shut her into himself in a circle of bliss. That is the embrace. and shut the world into himself and her. Everything is now for him, she alone, she alone. The whole world is she alone for him now. Starry heaven encircles, this is again a comparison. As a starry heaven encircles happy earth, in the night we have got stars, and the stars are now circling the earth, embracing the earth. Heaven with stars is embracing the earth. In the same manner, in the case of Satyavan also, he is gathering all Savitri into him. He shut her into himself in a circle of bliss and shut the world into himself and her. Now, this is a kind of a Vedic simile. Heaven and earth. Heaven and earth. It is a Vedic simile. In the Veda, there is a constant description of heaven and earth as companions of each other. Heaven as the Lord and earth as the spouse. Heaven in Sanskrit is called Java, Divya, Java, the word of gods, Java. Earth, Prithvi. Prithvi, earth is Prithvi. So, heaven and earth, they are the consorts. Java and Prithvi, they are the consorts. So, the way they join together, they embrace each other, in that manner is this mating taking place here between Satyavan and Savitri. And shut the world into himself and her. And then a boundless isolation made them one, isolation without any boundary. There is nobody around the whole forest. There are only two persons there. Isolation made them one, so they have come together. He was aware of her enveloping him. He has become so sensitive, so perceptive. He knows that something is happening to him, that she is enveloping him, she is surrounding him, she is flooding him, she is pouring herself into him. He has become aware of that thing. And he allowed it to happen and let her penetrate his very soul. Yes, please, please, please. He is allowing her to pour herself into his soul. As is a world by the world spirit filled. Now this is the description now. The way in which the world is filled by the spirit of the world, it is in that manner Savitri is flooding him and he is allowing it to happen. As the mortal wakes into eternity, as the finite opens to the infinite. The way in which the finite would open to infinite, it is in that manner he is allowing her to penetrate into him. So that is what has happened. He has described the state of Savitri, he has described the state of Satyavan. And the story moves forward now. Thus were they in each other lost a while. They remained together, embracing each other for a while. Then, drawing back from the long ecstasies trance, came into a new self and a new world. The beginning of the new world is their coming together. The new world is born in that meeting, in the meeting of the two. That is the important thing. New self, of course, will come as higher beings, new self. And a new world will begin with that, came into a new self and a new world. Each now was a part of the other's unity. They have come together. You see, very dramatic kind of description. Savitri is very, very, very dramatic in some of these descriptions. Part of others' unity. My unity is with you, and your unity is because of me. So they have become the part of each other's unity. The world was but there twin, twin self-findings seen. These two together, they have found the world and the world has become for them now. Or their own wedded beings, vaster frame. When they have come together, it is in that togetherness they see the world as wedded together to each other.